4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, customers are the backbone of any and all businesses. If you want to get more customers, we've got to seduce you all.
You've got to progress. If you want to attract bigger people in your life, then you've got to become a bigger person. You've got to become better at your skill sets. You've got to immerse yourself into personal development. You've got to find a mentor. You've got to find one or two people that have the results that you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Untold Upline Secrets / The Interviews. Listen, I'm really excited about this interview here today. You know, this young lady, I've been knowing her for about, I would say 12, 13 years. Her and I go way back in this little thing that some of you may have heard of called attraction marketing. And I've been lucky enough to watch this rock star come through the ranks, literally come through the ranks in the direct sales arena, in the internet marketing arena, where 15 years ago, some people maybe didn't know who she is. Today, they know her as the queen of attraction marketing. Today, they know her as a phenomenal course creator. Today, they know her as a phenomenal leader, a multiple six-figure earner, someone that every single company that she gets involved in, she has absolutely crushed it, changing lives all over the world. And one of the beautiful things about it is that she literally does it from the comfort of her home with that computer, with that cell phone, while creating courses, while doing it on TikTok, while doing it on Facebook. She's got some of the funniest TikTok videos you'll ever come across. And she has a phenomenal personality. And I know you guys are going to love her. So let me welcome to the stage the queen of attraction marketing, Miss Lisa Torres. What's up, Lisa? How are you?
What a great introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. I like your intro too, by the way.
Thank you. I'll send you my PayPal when we get done, and you can look out. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. I'm so happy that you're here. We're able to get this interview done. I'm pretty excited about this one. And you know, Lisa, there's some people that are going to see this that know you. Then there's going to be quite a few people that might not know you. You know, so let's talk to the people really quickly that don't know you, because I always start off with the same way and asking the same question. Who is Lisa Torres for the people that don't know?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this interview. It is an honor to be in your presence, Mr. Harris. All right. So from the Bronx, right? Raw, hardcore New Yorker from the Bronx, although I live here in Atlanta now. But, you know, I was born and raised in the Bronx, grew up in the Bronx, grew up in the hood, you know, all that stuff. But I was introduced to network marketing at 19. From a friend of mine. She introduced me, she invited me to a home party, and I fell in love. I fell in love with the concept. I fell in love with the idea of being my own boss, making millions of dollars. And this was back in, we're talking about like 36 years ago.
Wow, 36 years ago. Whoa, okay.
I've been in the game for a really, really long time. But, you know, when I was introduced to network marketing at a home party, and I love the idea, and I was surrounded by like people who were making a lot of money, I was like, I need this. Like because I couldn't see myself working for somebody for the rest of my life. And I'm only 19. I don't know anything about anything, right? My mother had died 2 years before that. My sister had died 3 years before that. And so I was in a place where I was like, I need, this is like music to my ears for me right now, because I just can't see myself working for somebody else. And so I got introduced to network marketing. I joined that night. I bought my little starter kit, and, you know, from that company, you know, I jumped around from several companies for the next 18 years. And in the next 18 years, I only made $20.
Hold on. For 18 years, you only made $20?
Now, of course, I was, you know, working. I had a job. But I was still hustling from company to company to company to company. I was doing health and wellness. I was doing travel. I was doing this and that, candles, like you name it, I've done it. And I jumped around from company to company, just trying to feel my way, trying to understand how this works, and this, by the way, this was before the internet, right? So we didn't have all the fancy dancy social media and YouTube and all of that. We had card magnets. We had bulletin boards, putting up flyers. We had networking events. We had home parties. Like we had all the things, fax machines, right?
Right.
We had all the things that nobody uses anymore because everybody's online. And so those are the things that we had to do when I came in the game. And for the first 18 years, I made $20. And I was in a travel company, and it was because a friend of mine felt bad for me and purchased I don't even remember what it was. Say it's a hotel or something. I don't remember what it was, but I made a $20 commission. And I was like, woohoo, finally, right? So then, the internet came. And in 2007, at this point, I was working in corporate America, cubicle, right? Working for a bank, TD Bank. I'm sure you heard of TD Bank.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in the corporate department, dealing with, just shuffling papers all day. And I was just sick of it. And I was like, this is not for me. I just don't see myself. And by this point, I've already been in the game and trying to be, making it from that, that point. This was in 2007. I had been trying to have success, but nothing would, happen.
Nothing more than that $20 bill. Nothing but that $20 bill. That's it.
That $20 bill. So the internet came. My husband bought a computer, and I started playing around with the internet and, whatever. And then YouTube came, right? And then I started looking at people on YouTube, and I found my first mentor on YouTube, and she taught me, a couple of things. And I shot a video every single day on YouTube for 6 months and still didn't make a sale.
Wow.
And then finally that 6 month came, and guess what? I made my first sale. And then after that, I made my second sale, and then my third sale. And then before you know it, I kept making sales because I finally figured out this whole attraction marketing thing. And by the way, this was before I even started like building capture pages and, generating leads and creating lead magnets or any of that kind of stuff. I wasn't doing that. All I was doing was creating videos and telling people to click on the link in the description.
All right. So hold on for a second. We got to unbox a couple of things because there's a lot here, and we got to back up. So I got to get one of the obvious questions answered, because some people are going to be like, well, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
She said 30 plus years ago, and they're looking at you and you don't look like a day over 26. So we're assuming that the first company that you started with was skincare. Like we're assuming that that's a big dream. There had to be some skincare that you got in your garage somewhere.
Well, first of all, I'll be 54 this year.
Wow. Okay.
But I did start out with the company that I did start out with. Everybody knows this company. It's one of the oldest companies in network marketing. I'm not going to say the name, but you guys know what it is. But they had all different types of products, and yes,
does it rhyme with Ramway?
That's not, huh?
Does it rhyme with Ramway?
Yes, it does.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking. Okay, all right.
That was the first company at the home party.
Okay, got it. So we started off with Ramway. Then you went from Ramway to travel.
No, there were like other companies in between there, like other health and wellness companies that I don't even remember. I remember one of them was like For Life, and another one was something else I can't remember. And then another one was Global Travel Network. Like there was a lot of I was literally the biggest bunny hopper you can imagine.
Okay,
I was just
looking for that win. Looking for that win. I was just
trying to figure it out. Like what products work? Like what do I do? And just didn't work for me. Then finally the internet came, and I started shooting videos and just sharing my story. And before you know it, I made my first sale.
So let's unpack that part. Let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
Because there's a part of that I want people to really get, that I think that's so important. You said, I shot videos every single day for 6 months, and I did not make a sale. No. All right, now most people, they're going to quit after 2 or 3 videos or a week or 2 or whatever. So if I just rock with your number, that tells me that in 6 months, that there was 180 videos. I'm going to take 30 of them off. I'm just going to say 150. I'm going to give you a month off. That's 150 videos for those of y'all that are listening and really paying attention to it. That's 150 videos before making a sale. Why did you continue and did not quit after 150 videos?
So, faith.
Okay.
Faith and doubt, they don't coexist.
Very true.
So I knew something. I mean, I saw other people working. The proof was in the pudding. I just didn't figure out why it wasn't working for me yet. So I was always in the mindset of, I know it's gonna work, but it ain't happened yet. Yet is the key word, yet, right? See, all work works when you work it. And so I saw people having success. My mentor, right? She still had a full-time job and she was creating videos and making sales, like, you know, through affiliate marketing and stuff like that when we first got started. It was affiliate marketing, by the way, not network marketing when I made my first sale. It was a little $97 program. And I got my first little $100 commission, my little $97 commission. But my first, I don't know, 50 videos were horrible. The lighting was terrible. The audio was terrible. You know, back then we had the flip cam. It was just messy, right? And so my videos sucked because my energy was low. Like I could, well, my channel that had started back then had shut down. I don't know if you remember back in around 2008-ish when people were going around on YouTube, you know, to a lot of the people who were having success and they were like reporting them or some kind of button. A lot of people were getting their accounts shut down.
They hated network marketers. They shut all the networkers down. No, I remember those days.
I was one of them and I just could not get my channel back. And so I started another one and that's the one that I actually have right now. So that was probably since 2010, I'm going to say. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so I remember you coming up through the ranks. So I joined MLSP 2000 and I think it was 2009. All right. For those of y'all that don't know, MLSP is not around anymore, but MLSP was where a lot of key leaders started at that really figured out this whole attraction marketing thing. Right after Mike Dillard really went crazy with magnetic sponsoring. You know, and I remember, you know, myself and Tracy Walker and Nicole Cooper and Lawrence Tam and David Wood and all of us in there just crushing it, you know, and I cut a nice little deal with MLSP one day and started overriding the whole system and I could see different people all over the place. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And back then you had just now starting to come around. So when was it when you actually got into MLSP? Because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was your springboard. I feel like there was a lot of things that you learned there that you apply today from multiple streams, from list building, from, you know, you learn about my MLM on the back end, not the front end. Like, when did you get into it, get in MLSP? And then when did it really start to click for you? Okay.
So I actually joined MLSP when they were only 4 months old. And that was when I saw you guys, right? And I was like, man, these guys are crushing it, right? You know, you guys were the leaders in MLSP back then. And I had came in and again, MLSP was brand new. It was only 4 months old. I came in, I started learning some things. I started learning about attraction marketing. I read the Mike Dillard book. And all that kind of stuff. And then they had a training in there. It was a Twitter training. I forgot who did the Twitter training back then, but I was like, you know, Twitter's new, you know, it's the hot thing going on right now. Back then I said, I'm going to try this Twitter thing. So I started learning. I implemented what I was learning. And that's the key word for you guys listening right now. Stop learning things and not doing anything with it, right? You have to learn and apply, because if you don't apply, it's never going to work. So I learned and I applied, and that month I made it was like close to 50 sales in MLSP.
Wow.
50 sales in a month in MLSP. And and so that was like my first biggest breakthrough online was through Twitter. And then, you know, I learned some stuff. I got some results in MLSP. I wasn't a leader in MLSP yet, but I was, you know, kind of like doing my thing on the low. And then I left. I started doing other things. So I was doing Beachbody, and then I joined the Power Network, and then, you know, I was doing like a few things. And so my first 6-figure year was in Empower Network, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year was that? What year was that for the people that don't know?
That was 2000, I want to say 11. Yeah. Okay. It was 2000, from 2011, almost 2011 to 2012.
Gotcha.
Right. And that was I made my first 6-figure year then. And then MLSP, I started looking at, let me see what MLSP has got going on now. So I started, you know, looking at YouTube videos about the changes that MLSP made, and I discovered that they increased the comp plan, and they changed the comp plan. And I was like, ooh, it's looking sexy right now. Mm-hmm. Let me jump back in this thing, because what I saw that was going on with EN was not looking good. And I was like, you know what? Let me bounce over here and go over here, because I already see what's going on over here right now. This train is about to like collapse.
Right.
So this was like 2000 and I want to say 12 that I moved over to MLSP. And that's probably where you saw me. When I had joined MLSP, it was like maybe a couple of months, maybe a month or two after they were having the event. I think that's where you saw me at, maybe.
Yep.
Right. And so I spoke at that event. And by then I had already, no, I'm lying. It wasn't a couple of months. It was like, let me see. I hit L6 in probably like 5 weeks. So it was a little, like almost, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, maybe. I don't even know. Right. But it was fast. Yeah. And I was, you know, according to Brian, I was the fastest to ever do it in the history of MLSP, to hit that rank super fast. And so again, I came back. I learned everything that I needed to learn from MLSP. And then I came back and I just basically implemented everything that I've learned from MLSP back into MLSP.
Right.
And that was how I was able to grow. And the reason why I grew so fast is because there was a training in there. It was one specific training that just made me just blow up at MLSP. And that was a training. It was a prospecting training from Jessica Higdon. And, you know, because I came in there and I'm watching these videos and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hang out in the DMs, well, the inbox on Facebook. Right. I'm going to hang out in the inbox on Facebook. And I was just like this all day. Not all day, but basically this is all I did. And so that's how I was able to get to MLSP real quick. You know, the top of L6 real quick.
So one strategy. Cause what I just unpacked from that is that one strategy, like you learned these different things, but you took one strategy, locked in on that one strategy, and that one strategy was able to help springboard your career.
It was prospecting. That's what it was, prospecting. Now, of course, you know, I was doing other things like posting on my wall and, you know, still doing YouTube videos and things like that. But the main thing was, the reason why I, you know, ran so fast was because of prospecting.
Gotcha. Awesome. So let me address a slight elephant in the room for a couple of people that are watching, because I have indulged in this elephant myself in my career. So I have to address it for my sister here. You know, people will look at videos like this sometimes and they will say, because there is only one person, there's one person that I've interviewed in this whole interview process. That would be Mr. Brian Carruthers, who's the number one or number two income earner in his company, has made multiple 8 figures, has been in the only company he's been in. Now, people have heard Lisa say, well, I was over here and this one didn't work, and I went over here and this one didn't work, and I went back over here when this one's working, and I went over here and this one was working. And some people will be like, well, did she sit still? And I always look back and I tell people, there's one of my favorite songs that people don't pay attention to. And I know you're going to love this song. And it's Kenny Rogers. It's know when to hold them and know when to fold them. and sometimes we get so locked in to the company. I was telling the guy the other day, I said, if I'm driving right now from Tampa to Virginia,
right,
and the goal is to get to VA, but my car breaks down on the way there, I'm going to stop at a rent-a-car place and get a rent-a-car and continue, because the destination was to get to Virginia. It had nothing to do with the fact of the type of car that I was in. The destination was for me to get to Virginia. And so many times people get locked into the car and they forget exactly what the destination is. And the destination could be financial freedom. The destination could be retiring your wife, retiring your husband, paying, full-blown college for your kids, buying a new house, this, that, blah, 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 whatever it is. The destination doesn't change. So based upon the fact that you've had to move a couple of times, and you do not apologize for it. And I'm glad that you don't, because me neither. It's like, this is life. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. This is real life. Like, what would you say to some of the people that are so locked in, thinking that, man, especially when the ship is like halfway underwater, when you know that you got to do something, what would you say to that?
Yeah, jump off the boat fast. Put your life jacket on and just jump. Right, and your life jacket is the man upstairs, right?
That part.
Put it on and jump. Because if the ship is sinking, you're gonna be sinking with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Another thing is that I think one of the reasons why I think I jumped around from thing to thing is because I didn't have any kind of leadership. I didn't have any kind of mentorship, any kind of coaching, any kind of anything. Like when I joined these things, I didn't, I was left alone. And so I was left to fend for myself. So I didn't have any support or anything like that. I had to kind of figure everything out on my own. It wasn't until, it wasn't until Beachbody, or was it? No, it wasn't until Beachbody that I really started getting support. Right. I didn't make six figures in Beachbody, but I had the support and I was getting results, but I didn't make it big yet. Right. It wasn't until Empower Network where I really got the support and really got the training, and then really was able, because it was high ticket, I was really able to break that goal, and hit that six figures in a year. But I think one of the things is that you really have to, I believe there's a lot of people that don't believe this. They're just in it for the money, and they're like, they don't really care about the products or the this and this and that. And that's fine. No judgment on that. Okay. But I believe that if you want to have success in a company, you got to at least like the products and the services.
Right.
Right. To me, that's like, it's just not, the integrity is a big thing for me. And so I have to like the products and the service, because if I don't like the products and the service, I just can't put my name behind it.
Right.
And I got to be, not that I have to be a product of the product, but I have to at least enjoy the products or services, right? And actually use the products and services. So I think that's one of the things. And some of the times, like in some of the companies, I really didn't care about the products and services. I just wanted to make some money. And I think that was one of the reasons why I really wasn't, having success, because I was, just chasing the dollar. But then when I had my first success and I finally started rank advancing in Beachbody, is because I really loved the products. And I was actually using the product. I had lost 30 pounds in 90 days doing Power 90 and drinking Shakeology. Right. So yeah, I just believe, I'm a big believer in loving the products and loving what you're doing. And then it's easier to sell it. You know what I mean? If you're going to be product based and pushing the products, you have to at least love it. If you're going to be pushing the business opportunity, you have to be passionate about at least the compensation plan, right? So you have to have some kind of heart in it if you want to make it, work.
No, I agree. I tell people all the time, the more you chase the dollar, the more it eludes you.
Yeah.
Because if that's all you're chasing, it's like, what are you attached to? You're just chasing the dollar, and the dollar is going to keep running. This is going to keep running. Before a dollar shows up, there's going to be some value that exchanges hands. Yeah. So what kind of value are you gaining? What kind of value are you delivering? If there's no value anywhere, that dollar is going to keep on eluding you. It's part of the game. I mean, it is what it is. So let's fast forward some years here. You know, because we're in 24 now, and you've been doing this for a while. You know, you done made really good money, and you done built some very, very quality teams. So let's talk about the current marketplace. You know, right now, what are some of the tactics that you were using? And let me frame this the right way. We are in the TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, lead hook, lead magnet, list building, push notification. We are in the world of so many strategies. What are some of the strategies that you're using right now to get your current success?
You're right. Strategies, it's overwhelming with the amount of strategies that we have right now. Yeah. Like we could talk 2 hours about all the different strategies alone, right? The thing is that especially if you're like a solopreneur and you don't have like a team helping you with editing, graphic design, all these different things, you have to kind of hone in on what you're good at and what you actually like to do. Because if you don't have a team, you can't be everywhere and anywhere, right? Right. You have to hone in on what you like. And I had to kind of learn that the hard way at one point. I was trying to be everywhere and getting nowhere. My business had stalled for a while, and I had to like cut a few things off that I was doing and focus on the things that I know that works, right? And so for me, what I know works, for me, it might be something else for someone else, but for me, what works for me is videos, right? I love making videos, and my videos convert. I know that I'm good at doing it because I know that I'm good at delivering the message that I need to deliver to get that person to make a decision to buy whatever it is that I'm buying or opt into whatever it is that I'm trying to get them to opt into, to generate a lead, make a sale or whatever. I'm good at that. And so because I know what my strengths are, that's where what we need to focus on. We need to focus on the strengths, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the funny thing is that even though I know that I'm good on video, my videos don't get a lot of views.
but they convert. It's not about the numbers, it's about the quality.
And see, that's the thing that a lot of people, they're focused on the wrong metrics, right? Mm-hmm. They're focused on, I'm not getting views, I'm not getting followers, I'm not getting, this and this and that. But that's not where the money is. I actually know several people with thousands, hundreds of thousands, even somebody with over 1 million followers on TikTok that she abandoned the account because she wasn't making any money. Right? And it's like, and I even heard, it's funny because the other day I was watching a YouTube video about this YouTuber who was actually talking about that. Right? She was talking about, I don't know if you know who, what's her name? Modern Millie. I don't know if you know who that is, but anyway, she was talking about how, a lot of people are saying that they're focused on the followers and they're focused on the wrong metrics, but none of them are making any money. It's like, right? You have to get good at conversions, because conversions is where the money is at. It's not in spending so much time creating a TikTok fancy dancy script and a skit and all this kind of stuff. It's about how are you going to take that person who's watching your video and convert them into whatever it is that you're trying to convert them into, whether it's a lead, whether it's getting them to buy something, to register for a webinar. What is it that you're trying to do, right? And so you have to figure out what you're good at. So for me, what I'm good at my emails. I'm good at my videos. I'm good at, posting on social media and creating these type of social media posts that get engagement, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, conversions, right? Because
you're good at controversy too.
Oh yeah.
You can create a little controversy too and be like, I'm just here. I'm hearing the phone ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, that's another Lisa post. It's like, as soon as you comment on it, it's like, oh, here we go. But it creates the engagement.
But you know what, Cedrick? You either love Lisa Torres or you don't like her. Period.
Listen, I the same way, and ain't nothing wrong with that. If you want to be liked by everybody, you sell ice cream.
Right. You either like her or you don't like her. And I really don't care either way. Right. If you love me, great. I love you back. If you don't, great. I'm gonna still love you anyway.
Right.
Just, you know, just let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you, right? But no, this is part of the attraction marketing that we learned back in the day. Yes. Right? You have to be okay with expressing yourself and sharing your opinions on how you feel about things, and not worrying about what other people are going to think about you, what they're going to say about you, you know, how they're going to judge you. And all. I don't care about any of that stuff. If I have something to say on my post, that's my wall. Not wall, we call it timeline now, but that's my timeline. Right, I'm going to say what I want to say on my timeline. And if you don't like it, you could either just unfriend me, block me, or keep scrolling. I mean, it's real simple, right? Mm-hmm. So that's, I mean, this is called freedom of speech. Right? And it's just my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's the right opinion or it's right. It's just my opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinions, right? So that's just how I feel. And that's kind of how I've always, you know, been online, just sharing what I feel from my heart. And either you agree with me or you don't. Either way, it's fine. Right.
That's the only way, you know, people buy into people that are authentic. I think we live in this world that people are trying to be someone that they're not.
Yeah.
Not realizing that that actually takes work. It actually takes work to be someone that you're not versus just being who God made you.
It's exhausting.
When here's where it gets disrespectful. It gets disrespectful when people try to be someone that they're not.
Right.
Not understanding that God didn't make a mistake. Because as soon as you try to be somebody that you're not, basically what you're saying to him is, no, I was supposed to be this.
Right.
No. I made you exactly the way that you were supposed to be made. And now you got a problem with it. No, just be you. And it's crazy. Like, most people will see people that go viral because they're just being themselves. Right. Instead of like, why you trying to box something? So that's just crazy. We can go on for hours about that. But where are you doing these videos at? Because I'm sure people want to know. I know, but you know, when you talk about you do a lot of videos, where's the content being posted at?
So right now, I have stuff on hold right now because I'm actually in the process of revamping a lot of like everything that's going on in my funnel right now, between the sales videos, the content in my membership site, the emails, the follow campaigns. I'm working on revamping that. So I haven't actually shot a video in like 2 or 3 months on YouTube. But I'm bringing that back actually what's today? Wednesday? Tomorrow I actually have scheduled to shoot my video for YouTube, my first video in like 3 months or 2 months, for next Thursday. So that's going to be launching next Thursday. And my intention is to post a video every single week like I was doing before. And that's where I was getting a lot of my leads, you know, since 2007 when I started YouTube, right? But I had stopped and put everything on pause because sometimes you got to press the brake in order to move forward. And so that's the point where I'm at right now. But it's okay because I like stepping on the brake, because when I step on the brake and I come back hard, when I'm ready to come back hard, it's just gonna, you know, because sometimes you just got to do that. And that's where I'm at right now. But I still do like Instagram, you know, videos and TikTok videos, but I just don't get a lot of like, you know, engagement on those platforms. I get a few leads because I track, you know, where all my leads are coming from on every platform, but I just don't get the amount of leads that, you know, my videos on TikTok stop at like 200 or 300, maybe 500 if I'm lucky views.
Right.
And I'm fine with that.
You know, that's not. I mean, that's still. You know, I think sometimes we think about numbers like that, and we're so used to millions. It's like we think 300, 400, 500. Oh, that's not. Well, that could have been 500 people that didn't know you at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's 500 new people, and if 12 or 15 of us subscribe from the video, you know, and okay, the next video, if the same thing happens, it's just a compound effect. It's just
exactly.
It's just a matter of,
I learned exactly what you just said. I learned that from YouTube, because even with my YouTube, I mean, I have YouTube. I think my biggest video on YouTube, or the one that has the most views, is about 75,000 views on one of the videos. That was like my biggest one. But even though I do have lower views because my videos are very targeted, very, I use a lot of SEO. So, they're optimized for search, right? For people that are going there searching for a specific thing. So they're not generic. So, which means my videos are not going to have a ton of views, but they get like, a few hundreds, maybe a few thousands, but they're very targeted. And because they're very targeted, I get leads and sales. So you don't have to have a big following. You don't need a big email list. You don't need a bunch of subscribers on YouTube. You just need to know who you're talking to, and you need to put the content in front of them and know how to convert. That's really, really it, right? So those are the metrics that you need to focus on. And so, yeah, I don't have a huge email list. I used to have a huge email list, probably like 20,000. You won't believe me, Cedrick, but I used to have a list of about 20,000 emails, maybe a little bit more than 20,000. And I'm down to about a little over 3,000 now. But that's because I'm constantly cleaning out my list of people who never open up my emails anymore.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. What's the purpose of having 20,000 people on a list?
I gotta pay for that.
Right. Well, and if you got a 2% open rate,
right,
versus having 3,000 people and 40% of them open it or 50% of them open, it's like, okay, I'll take the open rate. I always tell people all the time, your content in your email does not matter if your headline didn't catch their attention, for number one, and number two, if they don't like you.
Right.
It's in a sea of 10 million other emails.
Yep.
So it's like, who cares? Oh, I got 1 million people on my list, man. I don't care. That's like somebody being in a binary saying, I got 200,000 people in my downline. I'm like, well, how many of them in your week leg? No. How many of your 199,997? Okay, well, you got 3 people in your organization. Like, stop the madness. So.
But no, my emails, even though I only have like a little over 3,000. My open rates, because my email is so engaged, because, I keep them engaged. My open rate is anywhere between 60 and 70%.
Nice.
The reason why it's so high is because I keep my list tight. I'm always cleaning it up, and always keeping the people that actually open up my emails. And that engage with my, my content in my emails. And then another thing that I do is I don't just send out the first email, because it's going to be people that don't see it. And this is what I love about email marketing, by the way, versus, posting something on social media, even though I think that's important too. But what I love about email is that we can send an email out. I can send an email out right now. It's what? Almost 7 o'clock. I can send an email out at 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow morning, I can send that same exact email, change the subject line to the people that didn't open up the 7 o'clock email. So now if the first email got, let's say, a 50% open rate, and the second one got a 20% open rate, right? Mm-hmm. Now I have a 70% open rate. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I like to do things. I like to send to the unopens. Because there's people, we know from experience, you've seen emails, you haven't opened them, you were doing something, you forgot or whatever, and you forgot about it, right? So it's important to resend the emails to the people that didn't open the first one so they can open it again the second time. And I actually still do that like 2, maybe even 3 times. I will suck the juice out of that email.
Nice. You know what? Let's stay on that path for a second. The reason why I want to stay on that path is that, both of us have been in different opportunities over our career, and 99% of people that are watching these videos have been in more than one opportunity. And we always tell people the money is in the list.
Yeah.
The money is in the list. The money is in the list. The money is in the list. You don't know what might happen with that network marketing company. You don't know what might happen with your leadership, what might happen with the comp plan, the products, the shipping, the customer service, the owners, anything. You don't know. When you say I'm locked in for something for the rest of my life, that to me again is saying that you don't believe in God, because on this earth there's change, and as we go through change, if you're betting all your marbles on one person or one group of people, that's dangerous, because all of us are imperfect.
Right.
So how can you put 100% bet on that? So I say all that to say, as you've gone through your career, why would you tell people right now it is so important? It is like, to me, it's imperative that along the way they are building their list. Wow, what's your backing on that?
So this is what I always tell people who are in network marketing. If you, let's say, we'll use Instagram as an example. Let's say on Instagram, in your bio, you have a link to your MLM link that they gave you for your, your affiliate link for your MLM company. You have that link in your bio. Great. Okay. And you're sitting here like this, hoping that people click on it and make some sales, right? But what if instead you created a lead magnet? Okay. Let's say, for example, you were selling a health and wellness product, right? And I should be charging for this, by the way, Cedrick.
Hey, we can drop. Do your thing. If we need to drop something below, you just let me know.
So think about it like this: if I was selling a health and wellness product, I would ask myself, who does this product actually help? Who can benefit from using? Let's say it's a weight loss shake. Who could benefit from using this weight loss shake, right? I would even, if you have a problem thinking about this, ask ChatGPT. Right? Ask ChatGPT, give me a list. What would I put in there? I would say something like, give me a list of give me a list of target audiences that would benefit from, that. Let me see. I'm trying to think of what I would type the prompt. Give me a list of target audiences who are looking to lose weight because I want to sell my weight loss shake or something like that. I would tell that to GPT, and ChatGPT is going to spit out a list of people. So it might be, moms that just had a baby. It may be, women over 40 who are trying to, they're menopausal and they're trying to lose belly fat or whatever. It's going to shoot me a whole list. And now I could look at that list and say, okay, of this list of the target audience, who do I want to serve? Who on this list is going to be the perfect audience for me to motivate, inspire, teach, right? And sell to? Who's that going to be? So let's say it's menopausal women over 40, right? And I have this shake, and this shake, is going to lose belly fat. Great. So now I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create a lead magnet. I'm going to say, okay, ChatGPT, this is the audience that I like. Now, give me a list of 10 lead magnet ideas for this specific group of people. And it's going to spit out some ideas, right? So it's going to say, oh, maybe you can create like a starter kit, a checklist, a challenge, or whatever. It's going to give you a list of the things. So now you pick a list of the things, and now you go and create the content for it. And again, you could use ChatGPT for this. That always gets me tongue-tied. You could use ChatGPT for this and just keep asking it questions until you have created and built your lead magnet. The goal of the lead magnet is to make sure that it's not just filled with fluff, but actually something that they can get a quick win with, a quick result with, a quick aha moment, right? And then inside of that lead magnet, you would tie it into that shake, and you would sell your shake at the end of that lead magnet. Okay. And so now you put that lead magnet inside of a funnel. I know this is a little bit techie for some of you, but you put that lead magnet. I didn't know anything about this stuff when I first got started, by the way. I didn't know anything about lead magnets. I didn't know anything about, funnels, autoresponders, building a list, nothing like that when I first got started. Okay. And the lucky thing about it for you guys is that you guys have tools nowadays that are super easy to build this stuff. Back then, we had to use like Dreamweaver and all this complicated stuff, right? And we had to learn coding and build this stuff from scratch. So you guys have it made in the shade here in 2024, okay? With all this the technology and tools that we have that make everything so simple between Canva and, tools like ClickFunnels or whatever, right? Made in the shade, right? And so I would create that. Take the time on the front end, because it is going to take some time to create and build and stuff like that. But understand that once you have it done, now you can put that free lead magnet in your bio, or, you know, wherever, you know, social platform in the bio, the link there. And now when you create your content, you can create your content around that. And you could say, go to my bio, click my link. You're going to get the free blah, 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 whatever your free lead magnet is about. When they go through that, you're going to generate a lead, right? So let's say, you know, a month passes by and you have generated 100 leads. Well, now let's say you have a promo. Valentine's Day is coming up. You've generated 100 leads, and now your company is giving a promo for Valentine's Day. Great. So now you can send an email blast with the click of a button to those 100 people that opted into your freebie. So now you have 100 people who are hot prospects that opted into your list because they had an interest for that specific thing that you were giving away. And do you think that they're most likely to buy? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so you want to make sales with a click of a button? That's what you do. That's why it is so important to build or create a lead magnet, you know, put it in a funnel and use that instead of the links that your company is giving you, and start building your list, because, you know, you could make sales like literally overnight. You know, and there's a lot of things, different things that you could do with your list. Add values and coupons, promotions, you know, whatever. So yeah,
that's you know, what Lisa just gave you guys, and I hope you really, really absorb that, because she just gave you the sauce. Because number one, everybody has the same link. So you got to ask yourself that if there's 100,000 people inside of your MLM company, 100,000 people have the same exact link.
Yep.
So it's hey, why should they join you? Like, what's separating you? So if I'm taking what Lisa just said into consideration, I'm like, oh, here's nine simple ways to get rid of belly fat in 15 minutes a day, or whatever that lead magnet is. Okay, while everybody else is just pushing the shake link. She's giving me the lead magnet link, but it's doing two different things.
Well, not only are they pushing the shake link, but they're also trying to pitch the shake on social media.
Yes, showing the actual shake, showing the whole thing. You know, not covering up the name.
Right.
So it's like, if you're going to show me the whole thing, I mean, I just go to Google, I Google it. That's a whole nother conversation.
I would put the shake in a cup like this.
There you go.
Put a label on it and drink it and tell them why I love it so much, and make them want to ask me, well, what's in it?
That part. That part. That's another bullet that you guys just got for your favorite four-letter word. You know, but when we think about what Lisa just said, you're building that list along the way, right?
Yeah.
You use that lead magnet. Some of those people are going to take advantage of your back-end MLM offer. Some of them aren't. However, what we have learned, which is 100% proof, is that 80% of people make a buying decision after the 5th time they see something. The 5th time, 80% of sales are made on the 5th attempt. Yep. So if I now have you inside of an email autoresponder, I am dripping on you. You might not do it on Monday. You might not do it on Wednesday. You might not do it next Monday. You might not do it next Wednesday. But maybe next Friday, you're feeling a little bit insecure because you're bloated. Yep. And the email finally came and it's like, let me go ahead and buy this shake.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something also. Do you remember back in October? I think it was October of last year. Was it last year or the year before that? I think it was last year in 2023, when social media just shut down for like 8 hours.
Yep, I remember.
6 hours, right? So while everybody's sitting here, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I sent an email to my list and made sales that day.
That's the beauty of it. You know, the other day, you say that, it's so funny you say that. Every time I put up a post where I'm marketing something, and people are like, you know, I'm gonna create some sort of curiosity out of it. It's more info. Well, most people fail to realize that the more people do that, especially when you have people that are asking for information, but they're not your friend on Facebook. So they're following you. Right. So you keep inboxing these people. Here's the info you asked about. Here's the info you asked about. Here's the info you asked about. over time, Facebook looks at you and says, you're spamming.
Mm-hmm.
And they put you in jail. Now you can't do anything. Now, I done been to real jail before. You can actually get out of real jail. You can't get out of.
I've been in real jail before too, by the way.
So we both, but we can get a bond, right? There is no bond for messenger jail. Once you're in messenger jail, you're either in it for 12 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. There's no way to get out. It doesn't matter who you send the email to. You're stuck. So a couple of weeks ago, they slapped me. I mean, I had a post that went crazy. Boom, slap me. They'll slap you, and then they'll also slap the domain.
Mm-hmm.
So now they block the domain.
Yep.
So when I put this post up, I was like, oh, Facebook put me in jail. Oh, isn't that adorable? They must have forgot. I went right to the, I had that Jim Carrey meme kick in. Bam.
That happened to me too. And I had to go back to all those people and tell them, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Instagram.
And I think that's the part that I think people fail to realize about. I was telling a friend of mine not too long ago. I was like, you got a Facebook group with 100,000 people in it, 100,000. And I said, you have no emails, not one plugin on that Facebook group. When they request to join that Facebook group and they fill out a couple of questions, one plugin can pull the email. One plugin, and it's pulling the email that they're using for Facebook. So you know that they're checking that email. One plugin. And I'm like, if Facebook shuts you down or something happens, you just lost access to 100,000 people. And if only 10% of those people are paying attention to you, there's still 10,000 people. Now, I learned a long time ago from one of my mentors that as long as you have 1,000 fans, you can never go broke. You can never go broke. 1,000 fans. You got 1,000 people that like you and rock with you.
Yep.
You can never go broke. So if you got a Facebook group with 100,000, a Facebook group with 50,000 or whatever the case may be, you can't go broke. And if you are broke, it is your fault because you're not doing something right. And in most cases, I would say that it's probably because you're not doing some of the things that Lisa is sharing right now. So let's go down another rabbit hole real quick. Years and years of doing this. Talk to us really quickly about some of the events that you've gone to that you had an epiphany. Because I can name so many events that I've gone to, and it was like, oh man, this was the one that I was supposed to be at. This is the one that just changed my life. Jim Rohn says you never know what event is going to change your life. That's why you go to all of them. So what are 1 or 2 or 3 events or whatever that you can think of that you learned X, Y, Z, and it was something that really catapulted you, that maybe put another $5,000 a month in your pocket or another 20, 30 grand a month in your pocket or whatever it was?
The one that sticks out to me in my head was Miami Empower Network.
Okay.
Do you remember that? I know you were there.
No, I wasn't there. No, I wasn't at that. I wasn't
man,
there.
I
saw it though. I saw it all over the place.
That event was heavy. It was David Sharp gave everybody an assignment to write a letter to yourself. Like he literally handed out, he had somebody hand out pen and papers to everybody with an envelope. And we had to sit there for, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like that and write a letter to ourselves. And we were instructed to put the letter in the envelope, and they would come back with the baskets and pick the envelopes up from everyone. And they were going to mail it out. I think maybe 90 days or something like that. They were going to mail it out. Now, by the time the 90-day came, I totally forgot about it. Mm-hmm. So when I got my letter in the mail, I was like, what is this?
Right.
So it was kind of shocking. I was like, what is this? And I opened it up, and it was a letter to myself. And the bottom line was, if I could recall, because this was years ago, it's a little fuzzy, but if I could recall, I think it was about who you wanted to be in the next 90 days, right? And so what's funny is that the whole purpose of creating this this letter, or writing this letter to yourself, was based on the training that he did that day about who is the person that you want to become, right, in the next 90 days. And lo and behold, in the next 90 days, that was the year that I had made my 6 figures in Empower Network.
Nice.
So when I got the letter, I had already just hit 6 figures, and we were actually packing our bags, packing everything up to move out of our tight 2-bedroom apartment in the Bronx here to Atlanta. We had moved into a big 5-bedroom, 3-bath house here in Atlanta. It was a rental home, but it was a home. I was living in that apartment for 35 years, since I was 7 years old. I had never moved anywhere. So this is my first time as an adult actually moving out of this apartment that I lived in with my mother and my sisters. And like I said, one of my sisters had passed away, and a year later, my mother passed away. I was 16 and 17, right, in that apartment. And so I moved my family, my husband, me and my daughter, out to Atlanta, and we moved into this house. And it was because I had decided to become the person that I wanted to be, and to do the things to show up as that person that you want to be, right? In order for you to become, or in order for you to get to the place where you want to be at, you have to be that person that does the things to get there. Right? That was the training. You have to do the things that that person that you want to be would do in order to get to that place. And that's what I did. And so that was like the one that stands out for me.
That's deep. You know, you just triggered something. It's so interesting you say that. I was watching this video not too long ago, and it was a relationship advice video, because Lord knows that's something I need advice on. So I was watching this video, Lisa, and the guy said, I want you to think about everything that you want in a partner. Just start listing them all out. You want this, you want that, you want, list all these things out. You a man, list everything that you want in the woman. You a woman, list everything that you want in a man. List all the qualities, everything that you're looking for. And he just paused and take your time. Everybody, right. Then he said, okay, look at the list. Now be the list. Now become the list. See, we have these expectations in life of, I want to do this and I want to live this way and this, that, and blah, 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 blah. But in the Bible, it even says it. Be, do, have.
Yep.
Be that person first.
Yep.
Be him first. Be her first. Be that person that wants to be a great marketer, or whatever your goal is as you're looking at this video. Be that person in your mind, in your body, in your flesh, in your energy. Do the things that person would do, and then you will have those things. Be, do, have. You just summed all of that up.
One of the things that I say too, I ask myself is, like, if, in other words, if I have somebody that I look up to, right? Let's say, what is one of the people that I look up to? Amy Porterfield, right? Okay. I love her content. I love her vibe, you know, her training, her course, whatever. She teaches courses. I love her, right? I love everything about her whole business model and everything that she does. I'm inspired by her. And so I ask myself sometimes when I'm doing like different things in my business, I'll ask myself, what would Amy do? Right? So find somebody who you're inspired by and ask yourself, what would they do in this situation, making this decision? What would they do? Right? What would the person that you want to be, what would she or he do? And do that.
Right.
Right? Do that. One of the things that I'm working right now on is this right up in here. Right? Or the sexiness is what I'm working on right now, right? Because I have about, I ballooned up to about 225 pounds. And I have never been like overweight. I've always been, you know, on the thinner side, but you know, over the past 20 years, it's just been sitting all over in the places that I don't want it to sit at, right? And so over the past year, and this is slow process, but steady. Over the past year, I have lost 18 pounds. And it's because I'm just being the person, and, you know, not 100% I'm working on myself right now. But lately, okay, one of my biggest things is working out. I don't like working out. I hate it. Right. But guess what? The person that I want to become loves it. Mm-hmm. And that comes with discipline. Yes.
Yes.
And the only way for us to get to the person that we want to be is to be disciplined in doing the things that she would do. And so lately, what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks is I'm back on my Power 90 kick. I'm not doing the Shakeology, but I'm doing what helped me the first time, which was Power 90. It helped me lose 30 pounds in 90 days, right? And so now I'm doing Power 90 again. It's the baby version of P90X. I'm on that, and I've been doing that for the past 2 weeks, and I can feel the pain, right? And we got to go through the pain in order for us to get to the prize, right? And so I'm doing this right now, this whole, doing cardio one day, lifting weights another day, cardio one day, lifting weights another day, feeling the pain in my arms, feeling the pain in my back, right? My muscles, my back, everything is hurting. My thighs are hurting, my inner thighs, my butt, like everything is just sore. But guess what? If I want to get to that person that I envision in my head and what she looks like, I have to go through this.
Right.
Because it ain't going to work. If you're watching this video and you want to get to, I don't know, maybe your first 6 figures in a year, who is that person that you want to become? What are the things that they're going to be doing? What would that person do to get there? Who is that person? Be that, right? Work on being that person. And so that it's a struggle. It's hard, because we have a lot of challenges that we're dealing with on a regular day, a lot of challenges and distractions. And sometimes it's hard to stay focused, but how bad do you want it?
No, that's real. That's deep. I love
How
that.
bad do you want it?
I love that. I love that. Everybody can always kind of relate to the exercise analogy.
Yeah.
Because I think we've all been there. And I heard a long time ago, if you always want to know the truth, ask a dumbbell.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to know the truth, ask a dumbbell, because a dumbbell never lies. 50 pounds is 50 pounds, 100 pounds is 100 pounds. It's not going to lie. If you want to know the truth, ask a dumbbell.
Yep.
And most people don't get that. So as we wrap this up, Lisa, I first of all, thank you so much for all the valuable content that you've given everybody here. For those of y'all that are wondering, don't worry, we ain't gonna slide a PayPal button under this video. we're not gonna.
Well, maybe I will. No.
I know. At least it's about her money. But I gotta ask you this question. This is the question I ask everybody as we wrap up these interviews, and I want you to really, really think about it. I want you to go back 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, and I want you to think about something that a mentor told you. A mentor told you, a business partner, someone that you looked up to, or whatever the case may be. They said, Lisa, if you go do this, this, and this, you'll get this. And you didn't do it. Lisa, if you do this way, you might have your very first 7-figure year. You do this way, you'll have your first $20,000 a month. You have your first $30,000 a month. Mm-hmm. And you didn't do it. If you could go back to think, what is that thing? And because you're nodding, I think you already know what it is. Mm-hmm. What is it? What would you say that is?
It's funny that you asked that question, because I was going to throw something in before, but I didn't want to cut you off. But one of the things that I was going to say is, what would I do if I was starting from scratch? Mm-hmm. If I had to start my business all over again, what would I put as my number one priority to focus on? And that would be building my email list. If I would have done that back then, when I got started, right? Because to be honest, I was in and out of emails, autoresponders and stuff like that. I would build my list and then stop building my list and then build my list again and then cancel my autoresponder and then just throw it in the water and then build it again. Like, I wasn't consistent for a long time when I first got started with the email marketing thing, because I just couldn't figure that out either. Mm-hmm. But so if I was to start all over again, my number one priority would be to focus on generating leads every single day and building my list. That would be my focus.
The money is in the list. When they say this, every list, if you got a good list, every person on your list is worth $1 a month. So ladies and gentlemen, if you got 10,000 people on your email list, you should be making at least $10,000 a month.
Right.
If you got 50,000 people, that should be $50,000 a month. If you got 4,000 people, that should be an extra $4,000 a month. And that, I think we should all look at that as extra, because you never know what you're emailing them. So,
right.
Lisa, ooh, girl, you done dropped some nuggets on them. Thank you. I'm so glad we were able to get this interview done, and I'm sure people have gotten some phenomenal value here. You know, under this video, I definitely have a place for people to be able to follow you a lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, you definitely want to pay attention to Lisa on TikTok, on her YouTube channel, on Facebook. She's always dropping value. She's one of the best marketers out there. Obviously, she's a woman, and she's got a lot of men that follow her as well, but she's got a lot of women that she's helping all over the world, and you deserve to pay attention to leaders like her. So, Lisa, thank you so much. I'm humbled. I appreciate you popping on here, Sunshine. Keep crushing them. Keep crushing them. And I'm gonna write a letter to you. I'm gonna write a letter, and it's gonna be a letter, and it's gonna be, hey, Lisa, on XYZ on January 31st. On January 31st, you said that the future you is gonna be looking like this. And it's gonna
Like
be
a hot tamale.
I'm gonna put a picture of a hot tamale. So 90 days later, you could be like, I said that on an interview. Yup. Do you feel the burn? Do you
Hold me
feel the burn?
accountable.
Do you feel the burn? All right, sis, I appreciate you. Have a great night, and we'll definitely
Thank you, and say goodbye. Say goodbye. Let's do it. Oops,
bye,
wait a minute.
everybody.
Wait, I need to get you on my stories real quick. And everybody else watching, if you're watching, or you can cut this out or whatever.
Let's do it on the stories. Y'all are getting this live. See, this social media stuff.
Say hi to Cedrick.
What's up, everybody? What's up? I love it. Thanks so much, Lisa. We appreciate you. You have a great night, Sunshine.
All right, you too.
All
Thank
right,
you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Bye then.
Bye.